I wasn't at the first summit, but I tweeted quite a lot about it. So I think that's one of the reasons that I was asked to be involved. But for me, obviously I'm a wheelchair user, the reason I want to be involved, because actually as I get older and I become more decrepit and more parts of my body fail, it's going to have a massive impact on my life and also the lives of hundreds and thousands of other people. And we all know that there's issues and challenges. And for me, what was really interesting, I think as I was talking to various wheelchair users over lunch, I've become slightly more radical in my thinking. Because actually, it's a shame that we need to have a campaign for this at all. But the reality is that we do, because I don't think people understand how important wheelchairs are. And I'm not sure I've always been very effective at explaining to people either. So when my chair's been lost by various airports, and somebody's tried to give me another wheelchair, or give me someone else's wheelchair, or say to me things like, have you tried walking? Yeah. Yep. Really? Do you want to give it another go? Still not going to work. Or the other one was when my chair kind of arrived back from one flight, literally sawn in half. Somebody said to me, oh, do you know what? I know how difficult it is to get a chair, because I bought my grandmother one, and hers was £150. Okay, yeah, that wouldn't buy me a wheel. So for me, we've got to get across to a much wider audience, and there's lots of passionate people in the room, but a much wider audience, how important it is getting the right chair at the right time. And for me, it was brilliant to listen to the feedback session, and the things that Christine was saying was absolutely, Christine needs to be in front of lots and lots of different audiences talking about that. Because actually, what I don't want to have to be is the parents or the disabled people having to be the experts, because there's lots of bits of the system that don't work. It's pretty hard as either parent or disabled person. You have to be an expert in benefit support, in housing, in education. You have to be an expert across everything. And actually trying to pull all those things together is really, really difficult. And actually, the chair should be something that's the easiest thing to get right, because it's actually not that complicated. The things that make it complicated are us. And when I got involved, I mean, it's a bit of a myriad of systems. I've heard job titles that I've never heard before, and I've heard structures, and I've heard different things, and the postcode lottery, and all those different things. And it's a real shame, because there's lots of really, really good things that happen, but probably all we ever talk about is the things that aren't so good. Because to be perfectly honest, no one ever writes to me and says, I've got the most amazing chair, it's absolutely brilliant, it was dead easy and it's perfect. People only write to me when they have all the completely bonkers things that happen, like you can't get a new cushion cover unless they buy you a cushion, and you can't get a cushion unless they buy you a chair, but you don't need a new chair. And all those really odd things, which I don't think anyone tries to create that, but in trying to make the system better, that's a little bit what we've ended up with. And for me as well, I've heard lots of people talking about cost, and actually money is an issue, but I'd really like to think about it as investment, because it's the cost of not getting this right. I spent a lot of time in the Lords talking about the Welfare Reform Bill, and lost lots of philosophical arguments about the cost of not investing in disabled people. But if I look at my own childhood, I'm old enough to remember the 8BL chairs. Does anyone remember those? Yeah. God. And I remember going for an assessment to get a sporty chair, and it was an 8BL, but it was painted orange. I remember sitting there going, really? Is that really what? And it still didn't fit me. But you know, it's about getting those things right, and it's about making the difference that it really can. Because I think, sadly, you know, we talk about costs and it should be about investment. One of the reasons I had some really, really three really expensive back operations is because I was put in an 8BL as a child, because I didn't have any support. I got scoliosis. And actually, the cost of a chair back then would have probably been £2.50, because it was back in the 70s. Actually, the cost of all those 3 spinal operations, probably £1 million, which the NHS might not have had to spend if they'd thought about me as an investment, not a cost. So I'd really like to think about that, because I think that's a really powerful argument to go back to government with and to the NHS. Because if I had £1 for every time I was told we're in tough economic times, and we are, you know, we have money, it's just how we choose to spend it. And I think it's about us presenting the best arguments about how to spend the money in a better way. And then out of that, we do get things like consistency of service and things that we all want to see. So for me, it's not just personal, although it will be in about 20 years when I need a power chair, or might be 15, but it's about getting it right for everybody and doing the right thing because it is the right thing to do. That's all I'm going to say at the moment because I'm on a little bit later as well. But if any of you follow me on Twitter, I apologise for tweeting pictures of the food I eat on trains. But my email address is on there. But my email address, okay, has everyone got a pen? It's grey-thompson@parliament.uk. You can find me either on Twitter or you can find me on the House of Lords website. If anyone's got any comments that they'd like to feed in, I'd be really happy to hear from you because I kind of know lots about the things that affect me and people around me, but there's lots of it that I still need to learn. So if you'd ever like to email me, please do. And thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Thank you.